What do coffee pots and toilets have to do with technology? More than you'd ever guess. Welcome to the Factainment files. From the surprising origin of Google's name to the fact that your mobile phone is more powerful than you think, get ready for 30 insane tech facts that sound completely fake, but are 100% true. The term computer bug was first used literally in 1947 when engineers working on the Harvard Mark II computer found a moth trapped inside a relay, causing the system to malfunction. They taped the insect into the logbook with the note, "First actual case of bug being found." While the word bug had been used earlier to describe glitches, this event gave the term a concrete and memorable origin in the digital age. Modern smartphones are so powerful that they far surpass the technology used during the Apollo moon missions. In fact, your phone has millions of times more computing power than the onboard computer that guided Apollo 11 to the moon in 1969. That spacecraft relied on a 64-kilobyte memory computer with basic processing capability, yet it successfully navigated space. Today's phones are used for everything from browsing the web to facial recognition and GPS, all in the palm of your hand. The original Xbox controller was so large and clunky that gamers nicknamed it the Duke. It was developed quickly using parts from existing controllers, especially those made for Microsoft's Sidewinder PC line. Its oversized design was a result of the circuit board size and time constraints. Although it was initially criticized, it gained a cult following and even returned years later as a retro-themed controller for modern consoles. Wi-Fi technology owes part of its development to black hole research. In the 1990s, an Australian scientist named Dr. John O'Sullivan was working on ways to detect exploding black holes using radio waves. While the black hole signals were never found, the algorithms he developed led directly to advances in wireless data transmission, eventually becoming a core part of what we now know as Wi-Fi. It might come as a surprise, but email existed long before the World Wide Web. The first true email system was developed in 1971 by Ray Tomlinson on ARPANET, a precursor to the internet. He's also the one who chose the @ symbol to separate usernames from host names. The web wouldn't appear until nearly 2 decades later, meaning people were already sending digital messages long before there were websites or browsers. The QWERTY keyboard layout wasn't designed for speed. It was actually created to slow typists down. In the 1800s, early typewriters would jam if neighboring keys were pressed too quickly in succession. To solve this, the keys were arranged in a way that separated commonly used letters, reducing the chance of jams. Though technology has moved on, the QWERTY layout stuck around and is now a global standard. Before it became Google, the world's most famous search engine had a different name, Backrub. The project, started in 1996 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin, focused on analyzing backlinks to determine a website's importance. Fortunately, the name didn't stick. They later chose Google, a play on the mathematical term Google, meaning a 1 followed by 100 zeros, reflecting their mission to organize massive amounts of information. In 1980, IBM introduced the first 1 gigabyte hard drive, and it was enormous, weighing over 500 pounds and costing around $40,000. This refrigerator-sized device was revolutionary for its time. Fast forward to today, and we carry hundreds of gigabytes in our pockets on tiny micro SD cards for a fraction of the price, showing just how far storage technology has come. The name Bluetooth might seem odd for a wireless technology, but it has historic roots. It was named after a 10th century Danish king, Harald Bluetooth Gurmson, who was known for uniting Denmark and Norway. Similarly, Bluetooth was created to unify communication between devices. The logo even combines ancient Norse runes for H and B, a clever tribute hidden in plain sight. It may sound unbelievable, but more people around the world have access to mobile phones than to basic sanitation like toilets. According to global statistics, over 6 billion people own or use a mobile phone, while only about 4.5 billion have access to proper sanitation. This surprising fact highlights the rapid global spread of technology, even to the most remote places, while basic needs still lag behind in many parts of the world. In 1991, researchers at the University of Cambridge pointed a camera at their coffee pot and connected it to their internal network. Why? To avoid wasted trips to an empty pot. That simple camera setup became the world's first webcam. It wasn't about technology at first. It was about coffee. But this quirky invention quietly paved the way for today's webcam culture and video streaming. Before USB, connecting devices to computers was a frustrating mess of different ports and bulky cables. The invention of the universal serial bus in the mid-1990s changed that. It replaced a tangle of serial, parallel, and proprietary connectors with one simple universal plug. USB made it easy for users to plug in printers, keyboards, cameras, and more, without needing a computer science degree to do it. The very first website ever created was published by Tim Berners-Lee in 1991. It was hosted at CERN and explained how the World Wide Web worked. Amazingly, that site is still online today, preserved in its original form. Visiting it is like stepping into a digital time capsule, reminding us just how far the internet has come since its humble beginnings. When Instagram was first being developed, it didn't go by the sleek name we know today. During its early stages, the app was called Codename. The creators later combined the words instant and telegram to form Instagram, reflecting its purpose: sharing moments quickly through images. That simple rebrand helped launch one of the most influential social media platforms in the world. In 1983, Chuck Hull developed the first working 3D printer using a technique called stereolithography. It allowed objects to be created layer by layer using ultraviolet light and liquid resin. What started as an experiment soon revolutionized industries from automotive to healthcare, making it possible to create prototypes, tools, and even body parts with incredible precision. NASA relies heavily on Linux for its space missions and onboard computer systems. The open-source nature of Linux makes it highly customizable, stable, and secure, perfect for controlling spacecraft and managing data in extreme conditions. In fact, many of the International Space Station's laptops run on Linux because it's more reliable than other operating systems. The very first known email spam was sent on May 3, 1978, by a marketer promoting computer equipment. It was sent to 600 recipients on ARPANET, the early internet network used mostly by researchers. The message caused such outrage among users that it triggered heated discussions and helped define online etiquette. Ironically, spam has since become an everyday nuisance. The first computer mouse wasn't made of plastic or filled with fancy sensors. It was made of wood. Invented in 1964 by Douglas Engelbart, the original mouse had 2 wheels on the bottom and a single button. It was designed to help users interact with a computer screen more naturally than using a keyboard alone. That simple wooden box helped reshape how we use technology today. Before the iconic Apple with a Byte logo, Apple's very first logo was a detailed sketch of Isaac Newton sitting under an apple tree. The design, created in 1976, symbolized knowledge and discovery. However, it was quickly replaced by the simpler, more modern Apple silhouette that became one of the most recognizable logos in history. The internet we rely on today started as a military project called ARPANET in the late 1960s. It was designed by the US Department of Defense to create a communication network that could withstand nuclear attacks. This secure, decentralized system evolved over time, eventually transforming into the global internet that connects billions of people around the world. In 1972, Pong was released and quickly became one of the first video games to achieve massive popularity. Its simple ping-pong-style gameplay captivated players and helped launch the entire video gaming industry we know today. The IBM Simon, released in 1994, was the first device to combine a mobile phone with a personal digital assistant. It featured a touchscreen, email capability, and even basic apps, essentially laying the foundation for today's smartphones decades ahead of their time. CAPTCHAs, those puzzles you solve online to prove you're human, were originally created not only to block bots, but also to help digitize old books. By turning human verification into a useful task, CAPTCHAs have contributed to preserving knowledge. The very first video ever uploaded to YouTube was Me at the Zoo in 2005 by co-founder Jawed Karim. This humble 19-second clip marked the beginning of a platform that would revolutionize how we create and consume video content worldwide. Back in the early 1970s, the Creeper virus became the first known computer virus. It was designed as an experimental program that moved across ARPANET, displaying the message, "I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can," harmless, but a glimpse of things to come. Long before it was used in email addresses, the @ symbol was commonly used in accounting and commercial invoices to mean "at the rate of." It wasn't until Ray Tomlinson's invention of email in 1971 that the @ found a new life in digital communication. In 2019, the domain name voice.com was sold for a jaw-dropping $30 million, making it one of the most expensive internet real estate transactions ever. This sale highlights just how valuable and competitive online branding has become. Invented by the Japanese company Denso Wave in 1994, QR codes were originally designed to track car parts during manufacturing. Today, these quick response codes are used globally for everything from restaurant menus to mobile payments. Sony introduced the Data Discman in 1992 as one of the earliest attempts to create an electronic book reader. Though primitive by today's standards, it set the stage for the e-readers we now use to carry entire libraries in our pockets. Emojis were created in Japan in the late 1990s by designer Shigetaka Kurita. They were developed to help people express emotions and tone in digital communication, filling a gap where words alone sometimes fall short. From the first computer virus to the shocking purpose behind CAPTCHAs, technology's history is packed with strange and surprising twists. If you learned something new or had your mind blown, hit that like button and share it with someone who still thinks QR codes are a new thing. And remember, the future of tech is only getting weirder. Until next time, keep discovering one fact at a time.